I've spent the last 7 days becoming my best Jedi self. A training regime that took me from simple Padawan murking space chickens to an outrageously powerful Jedi Master capable of holding back entire droid armies, removing AT-ST pilots like plucking crisps from a packet, and killing space chickens with a slightly bigger crossguard lightsaber. Kylo Ren, more like fry those hens. When it comes to mastering the Force, you name it, you'll do it in Jedi Survivor. You'll tame bizarre creatures in order to conquer hostile planets. You'll pit your wits against High Republic escape rooms. You even get to live out your wildest Dagobah fantasy by wading through waist-high mud. Good thing Cal Kestis has customizable trousers, cause mine got real nasty, real quick. I love messing with Cal's powers, like using Force Grip to turn stormtroopers into my own man-sized gun, or deploying mind tricks to become temporary besties with a bile maw. But don't forget the simple pleasures. Punting goons off cliffs never gets old. And I spent way too much time force-pulling doors up and down. The whole experience gets under my skin so much. The rest of the Access team might think I'm too obsessed.
Dave has changed since he's been playing Jedi Survivor. First of all, that lightsaber, that blooming lightsaber.
So what we can all clearly see from this graph is Dave has 100% ownership of the lightsaber, whereas Ash, Rob and Rosie all floundering on 0%. Any questions?
He won't talk to me unless I'm Yoda. Dave, have you got access to the planning spreadsheet? Spreadsheet access I need.
Okay.
He's been disturbing people in the kitchen.
But in my defense, Jedi Survivor is worth getting obsessed over. It's a perfect Star Wars adventure. As in 2019 Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, you play as Cal Kestis, red of hair, blue of blade, and hairy of chin. How hairy is up to you, anything from Episode 1 Ewan McGregor all the way up to Mad Cave Hermit Ewan McGregor. Beard or not, you Jedi your way through dense worlds with a mix of lightsaber twirling, force power puzzling, and a lot of rope swinging, zip lines and wall running. Emperor Palpatine will be livid when he sees the scuff marks on his Imperial walls. Jedi Survivor is a cocktail of influences. Combat has a hint of Sekiro as you break enemy stances to finish them off with dazzling finishes. Or sometimes not quite finish them off, and then having to finish them off again. Cal also shares Nathan Drake's love of solving puzzles in ancient ruins and pulling himself up cliff faces with his new Ascension cable. He also shares Drake's diamond-hard buttocks if rock sliding is anything to go by. There's also a lot of Metroidvania DNA, which means learning new abilities to open up the worlds and sniff out hidden secrets. And, of course, there's a squeeze of Dark Souls. When you die, you lose experience and must hunt down the enemy who killed you to reclaim that XP. It adds an exciting spark of drama. Will you get it back? Won't you get it back? Though the decision to show your killer on the game over screen is less scary when it's a space chicken. But it's the way Jedi Survivor grows out the first game that really wows me, and that begins with story. So, cue the opening crawl. Don't worry, I won't spoil story specifics other than to say that this is clearly the work of people who love the whole spread of Star Wars. It picks up 5 years after Fallen Order, in the time period between the prequel trilogy and the original films, and does an amazing job of showing you how one age is gradually becoming another. This means you get to batter stormtroopers, but Jedi Survivor also brings in the remnants of the prequel's droid armies. You really get to chop through the greatest hits of George Lucas. Clone Wars fans will find loads of fan service, and even the staunchest prequel denier will get a kick out of the droid banter. Bonus points for when they blow up their own pals. The story also deals with the High Republic golden age of the Jedi, something we've not seen in the films, which is cool, but also justifies new tech and environments to play around with. The game is packed with sensory echoes of the past, and you end up hunting them down, not because you want the completion rate to go up, but because you genuinely want to fill in the lore gaps in the ludicrously detailed database. That's something that speaks to me as a Star Wars fan. I'm the kind of person who buys their own lightsaber or Lego Boba Fett. I even have my own Force Ghost.
Dave, you're not even the biggest Star Wars fan in the office.
Well, joke's on you, Force Ghost, as there's plenty there for everyone, Star Wars fan or not. The biggest change since Fallen Order is the inclusion of a huge central planet called Kobo. How big is it? Big enough to come with 2 species of rideable bird, the Nekkos for covering ground and the Relters for gliding over some stomach-flipping drops. Well, technically 3 species, but we don't talk about them. My Kobo TripAdvisor review: big, but doable on foot. Also, do not recommend local bar food. As far as freedom goes, it isn't quite Grand Theft Kobo. It's more like the Jeep sections in Uncharted, where you're let off the leash, but your eyes cleverly led to key locations or entrances to mine shafts or military installations, which lead to self-contained levels. It's the best of both worlds. Enough scale to spark the imagination, but enough focus that you're never left mindlessly hiking. It's also a brilliant playground for Cal's drip feed of powers. Kobo is covered in mysterious hatches and force fields that you can't pass until maybe 10, 20, 30 hours into the game. But it means every upgrade triggers a rush of excitement as you remember all the weird places you wanted to check out. Between every big story mission, I spent hours riding circuits of Kobo, seeing how the land has transformed. Exploring Kobo is the closest I've come to living in Star Wars. Last year's Andor series really made me appreciate those smaller stories on the edges of the films, and there's loads of that here. Take Rambler's Reach, a dilapidated town you build back up by recruiting citizens and helping local prospectors with favours. Every time you come back, the cantina's a little busier, and locals open up a little more. It also gives you a place to focus the billions of collectibles, a fish tank for exotic breeds, or an entire garden to plant. Not quite the full Moisture Farm Simulator 2023 I've long dreamed of, but a step in the right direction. You even get a jukebox to fill with wall-to-wall bangers. The sense of community you get in Rambler's Reach extends to your crew too. As in Fallen Order, Cal surrounds himself with close friends, cramming into the Mantis as it explores the galaxy. Think Mass Effect's Normandy if it was the size of a camper van. In Jedi Survivor, companions get to leave the ship. I've mentioned Uncharted a couple of times already, but exploring a droid fortress alongside gunslinging freelancer Boda Kuna really felt like Nate and Sam had been beamed up into space.
All right, let's dance.
Or maybe the comparison should be Kratos and Atreus, given the way you can order Bode to do flying kicks and drop electric mines to help in battle, or harness his jetpack and pistol combo to aid with mild puzzling. Oh, now I've said that, I just want to hear Christopher Judge saying, Bode. And a big force pat on the back for sections where you play alongside Merrin, the returning Night Sister. Her twisted magics play perfectly with Cal's force powers as she tethers hapless Imperials to the ground, or even better in ATST, and their deepening friendship develops in a really natural way across a couple of gorgeous desert adventures. Star Wars has always been such a strong series about friendship, and the bonds that form when a load of charming do-gooders are shoved together in a metal box and thrown into alien gauntlets, and Jedi Survivor really delivers on that promise.
Good work.
You too.
Take a look at Cal's improved lightsaber mastery and you might wonder if you need the extra help. He has 5 stances, and each feels like it exists to tick off a key Star Wars fantasy. You've got your classic single blade, of course, and the double-ended variant that let us reclaim Darth Maul's iconic staff in the name of good in the original Fallen Order. Both are back and great fun, especially sending out the double-ender as the world's deadliest boomerang. But now you have a proper dual-wield style, letting you go full Ahsoka Tano with a style that's brutally fast but drains your blocking stance, forcing you to nail those parries or face a quick trip back to the meditation point. The flip side to that is the crossguard blade made famous by Kylo Ren. Obviously it's in much more disciplined hands here, but it requires some of his imposing aggression as you time its slower hits to smash through defenses and trigger some of the most satisfying finishes in the game. Finally, there's the Blaster Saber combo, a mashup of Han Solo and Luke Skywalker that uses melee hits to recharge long-range shots. So no, you can't cowardly stand on a cliff and snipe from afar. Trust me, I have tried. Your reward for getting your hands dirty are more of those tasty finishes. All stances come with upgradable moves and a new perk system that lets you tailor Cal to your preferred style. But what it really boils down to is a combat system that lets fans geek out, but has the general variety and freedom that any action fan can appreciate. And that's Jedi Survivor in a nutshell. It's a perfect Star Wars adventure, but it's a great action-adventure game full stop. And sure, as a Star Wars fan, there are things here that are bound to resonate with me, like building AI platoons to fight it out on a holotable, a chance to see once and for all who would win in a fight between stormtroopers and their own AT-ST, or the chance to track down bounty hunters across the galaxy, like a Star Wars-themed Assassin's Creed, or climbing up high and drinking in a sci-fi landscape like I'm standing inside a piece of Ralph McQuarrie concept art. Or at the other end of the scale, hopping into photo mode and zooming right in to read every single button in the Mantis cockpit. I know there's Star Wars fans at the heart of Jedi Survivor because they've done everything I would do if I got to make a Star Wars game. So I think my obsession is well earned, but what do you say, Force Ghosts? Think HR will let me off? Well, I better finish 100%ing my save file before anything bad happens. I have a few corners of Kobo left to clean up, and those space chickens aren't going to chop themselves up. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like if you did. Subscribe and click the notification bell if you haven't yet done so. We've got more Jedi Survivor videos to come, and I promise none of them are Bantha Poodoo. Thanks for watching, and catch you again soon.
PlayStation